everybody, so today I'm going to be doing a video on Aldi, and I've been asked some questions by a couple of you, but one of you specifically asked that I do a video on this, and that is just my basic information on Aldi and my tips and things that I won't buy, etc. So I tried to really think about this, and I gave it probably almost a good month now. Just so I made sure that I covered everything that I wanted. Sorry for the noise, but I do have two little ones running around, so it's to be expected. Now, the basics of Aldi's, the first thing that you're going to realize is that the carts are quarter, I guess, dispensers. So they actually save money by not having cart people to bring in and out the carts. So you will need a quarter. Now, my advice is to have a little change purse, and in my change purse, because I'm a vlogger, I have my extra SD cards, but I have a ton of quarters in here. And the reason I keep several quarters in my change purse, which stays in my purse, is because there will be times when someone will walk up to you and be like, I'll take your cart back, give you what you think is going to be a quarter, and it turns out being, you know, 2 dimes and a nickel. So then you're left with this extra change, which is what I have in here. I have extra change, which happens to be 2 dimes and a nickel. So I will have to get a new quarter for my 2 dimes and a nickel now. So unfortunately, sometimes that does happen. It's not a big deal. You just get a new quarter. But that is why I suggest you always have extra quarters. Another thing that I like to do is have a quarter in my car, a quarter in my husband's car, and then I also keep a quarter in my wallet just in case for some reason I go without my purse. I still have a quarter on me in my wallet. So I have quarters everywhere because you just never know. So keep extra quarters on hand. This is a bag your own grocery store. So what you're going to do, you're going to go through there. You can either grab the boxes that are empty. You're perfectly allowed to do that. Take the boxes and put them in your cart, and you can just put all your groceries in there and use that if you don't want to buy bags, or if you happen to go in there and you forget your bags. I've had that happen. Just use the boxes throughout there. It's okay. They also provide bags. They provide these ones, and these are kind of flimsy. I'm not really a big fan of these ones, but they were kind of like my beginner bag. Then they provide these plastic bags. Now these plastic bags, I believe they're like 10 cents. And then they have typical paper bags, which I believe are like 5 cents. They may have gone up in price. I haven't bought bags like this in a while. I prefer to use the reusable ones because even though these are reusable over time, they're still plastic. And they still rip from time to time. But these are 100% recyclable, so, you know, you can still recycle these. I just prefer to use the reusable ones. So that being said, there are bags provided there if you are just starting off. Do that. I highly suggest you do if you're going to continue to shop at Aldi, is invest in maybe 1 or 2 good sized thermal totes. This one is one that I bought at Sam's Club. And the brand is Arctic Zone. I believe it cost me $10. This is a good hot or cold bag. And I like to put all my cold stuff in here just to keep it from melting. But definitely invest in a good thermal tote to keep your cool stuff cold. I have about 3 thermal totes, but I will slowly be replacing the cheaper ones that I purchased. They do provide those there at Aldi's again, but they're kind of cheaper. They're not as heavy duty and they're not going to last you as long. So definitely invest in a good one. And then you need a really good bag for your cans and your other stuff. Now this is one of the bags that I use quite often, and this is just a 31, I believe this is called the utility tote. I don't really remember. It's the big one that costs you about $30. But guys, I promise you it was worth the money. This thing has not wore down on me at all, and I use it every 2 weeks. So this actually fits the majority of my groceries, and it's rare that I need to use any other bags. There's a couple other reusable bags that you can purchase out there. Just really look for a good heavy-duty bag that you can use over and over and over again. You don't have to constantly worry about repurchasing bags. And I always keep my bags in my trunk. So I have bags in my husband's trunk and bags in mine. Though my car is mostly the one that gets used most frequently to grocery shop. So I keep the ones that I'm more likely to use in there. But I keep emergency bags in my husband's car. Unless he takes them out on me, and that has happened. The next big tip that I have for you is go online and look at the flyer for your area. When you go online and look at the flyers, you can see either the week that you're in and the next week after that, so you can get an idea of what is going to be on sale. They have hot deals or weekly deals where sometimes the produce is going to be on sale, or, you know, other items in the store are on sale and they're the hot deals. So definitely look online, and then when you get there, the flyers for the week that you're going to be shopping in is usually right at the front door, and then as you're leaving towards the exit, they usually keep the one for the following week. So I always pick up the flyers and I always check online, just because it might not be a deal. Typically it could be a deal now. It just depends on your area. There are good deals at Aldi's. I found that this really just depends on your area. And the reason I say that is because I will go to the city and they have a couple Aldi's there, and the deals there are on totally different things. And sometimes the prices there are more expensive than when I go to the one in like the smaller town, which is where I usually shop at. So that's going to depend on your area. And again, Aldi may be a place where you're going to save money on a lot of things. For me, that's the case here. Aldi is a lot cheaper for me to get everything at, majority of my grocery shopping done at. However, I do notice that some things either tend to be the same price or a little bit more, but not always. Rarely does that happen. So I don't know. It's hard to say what is going to be a good deal because that really is just going to depend on your area. So my advice, one day when you don't have to do grocery shopping, just walk through and look for things that you typically would buy and write the prices down. And unless you're like me, you know prices because you're constantly buying these things, you'll know what's a good deal and what's not. So, you know, just walk through, see if there's more that's going to save you money there. Though I can pretty much guarantee you will at least save some money if you start shopping at Aldi. Another question I've been asked is, are there things that you just won't buy at Aldi? Now, the biggest thing that I don't buy at Aldi is the eggs. And the reason I don't buy them is because in my store, I've noticed that they're more expensive to buy the eggs there than where I typically buy eggs, which is at Sam's Club. So for me, eggs is more expensive than buying eggs at Sam's Club. So that's just an example of one of those things where it's going to depend what's going to be more expensive or cheaper at Aldi versus the other stores you shop at. Another thing that I don't like, and I just found this out, is I don't like any other Pop-Tarts in their brand that, unless it's cinnamon. The other ones, they for some reason don't provide enough frosting up on the top, and they're not as flavorful. It's mostly just the pastry part, and there's not much filling inside of them or much frosting up on the top. So the only ones that I will buy there are cinnamon. Other than that, I stick to the Pop-Tarts brand. Some produce I won't buy there either, because either it's expensive or it doesn't look that great. It really just depends on your Aldi. One produce item I will not buy, no matter if it's cheaper or not, is Brussels sprouts. Now Brussels sprouts are cheaper at Aldi, but I don't like the way they taste. That's just me. I don't like the way they taste at Aldi. I can think that's the only thing that I really won't buy in the produce area, unless, like I said, things are not so good. But I've been very fortunate. My Aldi that I shop at always has good produce. It's rare that I find some that isn't any good, but if I go to the city, a lot of the times the produce there is no good. So it's a hit and miss with produce at Aldi, so just keep that in mind. Another thing that I will not buy is any of the ravioli or the SpaghettiOs. I'm not a big fan of that stuff anyway, but my kids will not eat the ravioli or the SpaghettiOs at all from Aldi. They just won't do it. So they say it tastes like spaghetti, so they don't like it. Another thing that we won't buy is those canned soups, like chicken noodle, or I think they have like clam chowders and, you know, the canned soups. We won't buy those there because they just don't taste very good. We prefer Progresso and Campbell's over the soups there. And the macaroni and cheese is I'm a little picky about macaroni and cheese. My kids, on the other hand, love it. They'll eat it without a problem. I still prefer Kraft or Velveeta, but you know, it's not something that I won't buy. It's just one of those things that it is definitely better, or I prefer the Kraft or Velveeta over Aldi, but I still, you know, it depends on my budget, and sometimes I'll still get the macaroni there, or I'll just splurge and get the macaroni somewhere else. It just really depends about the produce. Now, produce there is just like when you walk into any produce section, it's just smaller. And again, the size of your produce section is going to vary depending upon your town or your city. Smaller towns, you're probably going to have a smaller section. But you walk in, and just like anything else, there is bagged produce. Most of it is pre-packaged, because that's how they do their deals, is pre-packaged. But there are some things like the apples, plums, peaches. Those things generally aren't prepackaged, but for the most part, everything is in some sort of package or bundle. It really just depends what your area is like and what you're looking for. But for the most part, there's a decent selection, and if you're lucky, your Aldi will have good produce. And then as far as organic goes, we just now, maybe, I don't know, 4 months ago, got organic produce in Aldi, and it's a very, very small selection of it. Yeah, they don't have a lot of organic produce there. It's slim to none. Maybe if you're in a bigger city, you'll have more options for organic stuff. But here, it's just not a lot at Aldi. And another thing I will say, they do have the brand Fit and Active. That is more of the, I guess, healthier, low-fat option. Do provide a couple gluten-free products, not a ton. It's just like shopping at any other store. The only difference is you have to have a quarter to get your cart. You have to bag your own groceries. They just move your groceries from your cart to the belt. They take them and they just put them in another cart. So you take your cart, give them the old cart, and you take the full one, and you either go to the table, which you can bag your groceries at the table, or you can be like me and go out to the car and just bag them in your trunk already, so you don't have to lift in and out of your shopping cart. Especially if you've got 2 kids, sometimes it's impossible to bag while you're trying to keep them from running or sticking their tongues out at the mirror, which isn't really a mirror. There are some things that will be seasonal. So just like any other store, pumpkins are going to be seasonal. Though I do notice at Aldi, the pumpkins go like that. So at least here they do. There are people that will literally go in there and fill their cart with pumpkins because they are that much cheaper and they go so fast. It's not even funny. But anyway, guys, there are some things that are seasonal. There are some things that they'll have maybe one summer and then you think, okay, they're gone, they'll come back next summer, and then they don't. Some items that they test out and they don't stick around because I guess they probably don't sell as well. So it really will depend on your area, depends on the product. But definitely go check it out. See if it's something that's going to save you some money, because if you can save some money in your groceries, you can put it towards something else. Definitely check it out. Doesn't hurt to price check. And I will see you guys in another video. Also remember to check out the comments or the description box. I may have remembered something after filming this that I want to add. Or, you know what, somebody in another state or another area might have some advice for you on shopping at Aldi's that I may not have thought of, or that may be different in their area. So, that being said, guys, if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them, and I will see you in another video. Bye!